Today is June 18th, 2025. They're still running around with their special Tinkerbell fairy dust permission. There's no such thing. These people are con men. It's a big scam. Up in Summit Mall, this is the biggest joke in the world. How it's the biggest con. And people are falling for it. Now, people that are falling for it, one brain cell, make it work. Then realize how stupid you are. You have rights. People can't just violate you, railroad you, and steal everything you have. Realize how stupid you are for falling for any of this and how they're playing on your stupidity. I'm not that stupid. They have came up to me. If it was anybody else, they would have signed everything over to us by now. Hell hasn't froze over yet. And I'm not that stupid. It's a big con, a big scam. Bill from the Freemasons, big scam. He ran here. Had some guy go in and tape her in the shower washing herself. Can you imagine taping somebody washing themselves? Photoshop that in the other room. Had another guy go in and drug her up and tell her to say that. Can you imagine drugging somebody up and telling them to say something like that? And then run a contest off of it. Who could steal her money with the best scam? Scammed everybody into helping out. Some guy named Will running a big scam here. It's just a scam. Cackling Hollister Summit Mall, May 25th, 25. That's why the other cartel showed up May 26th, 25, that they're tired from Bill from the Freemason. And his big scam of the doctor from before not being one of hers, that they had lied he was one of hers and he works for them. And they're tired of his scam. Who does he think he is? I'd like to know who he thinks he is. He's the biggest con man in the world. I'll tell you that much. Con man. It's a big con. Okay? And they were saying, they're not, how dare that other cartel think that Bill should take care of Michelle? They're not the ones running it. We are. Florida's. They announced that in 18. Judge Peter's group. From Florida. They were at Faith Family Church. The one that got arrested in 22 in Florida and 100 men. The ones that didn't get arrested are here. Michelle was with him at Faith Family Church. 3,000 people seen him. And then Henry's Mafia's group was here with him. The Gentlemen's Club from Florida. They're the ones running it. The big bodybuilders, the ones that are big as Herman Monster. The ones with muscles out to wobble. Yeah, those guys. Then big, huge drug dealers. Yeah, those guys. The ones that impersonated the Portage County Sheriffs and the FBI hurting me. The ones selling the login to the case. Those guys. And then that cartel saying, do they want more? Oh, the Texas group does. Oh, good luck with that one. Good luck with that one. We'll just leave that one. Good luck with that one. They want more. They think they can have Bill threaten Michelle. Oh, they threaten more. Drug war here. They haven't done anything yet. Michelle said she's really nice. She said how to take care of herself. I did a video of telling her to get to an FBI office because the Texas group is known for dismembering people. And that's who Bill was initiating for. The Texas group. And it's like, get to an FBI office. You got information on that Texas group. That's gold to them. And if you know where any of the kids they took are, that's gold. They'll put you in a witness protection program and flip you. 95% are criminals. Only 5% are victims. So, yeah, it's like, get to an FBI office. Seriously, get to an FBI office. Because they ever get a hold of her, I wouldn't even want to think what they do. Because she told an agent March 27, 25, he was outside my work. And that he got it out of Michelle when they bashed in my head. They had tried to kill me or leave me incompetent. It didn't work. And the reason I don't know who that doctor is, he was never one of mine. He works for them and they had lied. He was one of my doctors. And he broke up with her after that. He had even got it out of my ex-husband that a girlfriend from before me made him marry me so he could get a job at my dad's factory. She'd have free insurance. And he could give her extra money. The woman that ran up all those medical bills in my name was Dave's girlfriend. My whole marriage was a scam. I had chest pains for a week. Then Michelle said it again in front of the police and feds, April 17, 25, outside Sheetz in Hartville. She was out. She walked out to her car, walked up to a blue Bronco, and said, I talked to the police up there. They said, how dumb was I? Admitting to that guy that they had tried to kill me when they bashed in my back of my head, and it didn't work. And the reason I don't know who that doctor is, he's not one of mine, but works for them, and they had lied he was one of my doctors. And that they all could end up going to jail for this. And that he's some kind of agent, and she's an informant. She said, and she really liked him. And that's when the FBI showed up April 1925 in Hartville Flea Market. How dumb are these people? You would not believe how dumb they actually are. She calls the FBI hotline. They immediately walk into the FBI office. Confess they're illegally monitoring her on their own. That's cyber stalking. You would have went to the jail the first day, but you told them you had sodium pentothal reports. They wanted your drug connections. Realize the only reason why you weren't immediately arrested? Because you told them you had sodium pentothal reports. They wanted your drug connections. That's the only reason. Reality check. That they were legally monitoring her on their own. And trust me, and they already knew she called the FBI. Okay? And nobody ever fell for the dirty doctor scam, taping you unaware, confessing a crime, sat on it till Dave wanted a divorce. There are so many crimes in that statement. It's illegal for a doctor to tape you unaware. It's illegal if a doctor knows somebody's being harmed and doesn't report it. They lose their license forever and they go to jail. They have to give a limited report to the police. There may be a problem here. I need you to look into it and let the police do their job. Can't tell them how, or you lose your license for HIPAA. But if you sit on it, you go to jail. Then he's in it with Dave and people saying, hey, ho, we're trying to kill her. Nobody fell for that. Because then you're accessory to trying to have somebody killed. See what I mean? They're that dumb. And then they said it sounded mechanical. They knew they altered everything and it was them and not you. Where the police said they always knew they drugged me and told me to say it before. Okay? And nobody fell for the tape of weird with yourself. We knew it was photoshopping of washing yourself in the shower. And they photoshopped that in another room. And they had photoshopped everything. But if they were going to be that dumb, we told Agent John to go up to that church and tell on her for calling the FBI hotline and to act dumb like these people. So we could find out who's all involved. And here it's a big bad drug cartel. Okay? That's why he was up there telling people he didn't care us being drug beat and raped. They knew they were drugging me. Telling me to say stuff. They knew they were framing me. It's the FBI they were trying to fool. Okay? Now, I want you to think about this. They were framing Danny and Jen. And for the tape of weird with yourself, the shower scene of washing in the other room. I went to him Christmas Eve of 22. I said, did you know about where they kicked in my door on the 6th day where we're out? To the wall. That's breaking and entering. You don't get permission to vandalize somebody's home. Breaking somebody's home is crazy. I would own the Portage County Sheriff's police abuse attorneys. I would own them. You would make me a millionaire. I went to him they knew nothing of this. Neither did Danny and Jen. They're just lying to everybody. Realize they're just lying. Okay? I went to Danny and Jen Christmas Eve of 22. I said, uh, did you know where they kicked in my door to the wall? They said when we were out, and she said, yeah. I said, Dad said it was a realtor passing out keys, don't report it. Yes. I said, did you know about body cameras? No. I said, did you know they were taping in the bathroom? No. Did you know they're laughing at me that they took a video of me showering and washing myself and photoshopped that in the other room and laughing at me in front of people in stores? They photoshopped me washing in the shower in the other room to make me look weird with myself. Did you know about that? No. I said, do you remember the orange, lemon, grapefruit-sized bruises all over me? Almost passing out in front of the neighbor by the second week up there, and it kept happening? Yeah. I said, did you know people were drugging me and beating me and telling me to say weirdo stuff? They're laughing at me in front of people in stores that they did that to me. Did you know that? They're like, no, I thought you were working too hard and bruising too easy. I didn't think about it. Kids came out of the room, hugged me, Grandma, we didn't know. Well, I kept going back over there. Okay. And I said, and I was talking to Gabe, girlfriend, my oldest grandson, he's grown, his girlfriend, Shay. And she's like, Karen, that's scary. I thought somebody was watching you live your life. I said, I know that. She said, Karen, it's creepy. I said, I know that. I said, what's worse is I would be fine and I would come in, wash my hands, make something to eat and drink, and it'd be out of a 2-liter Diet Coke, go in and use the bathroom, wash my hands better, and, come out, sit down, take a drink out of that Diet Coke, and the room go dizzy and black. Wake up hours later, I have orange, lemon, grapefruit-sized bruises on me, throwing up, infected. I didn't tell her about the personal infection. Didn't want to totally scare her to death. I said, orange, lemon, grapefruit-sized bruises on me, throwing up, almost passing out, and wake up with injection marks. The same thing. And I said, they're supposed to have drugged me and told me to say horrible stuff. She's like, Karen, that's scary. The thought predators were hurting you, and people were hurting you you never seen or talked to. And they were beating on you like that and leaving you like that. And Jen's like, I seen her like that. I seen her with giant bruises all over her, throwing up, and I seen her almost passing out in front of people, and I didn't put it together. Someone was hurting her. Okay? April 16th, 23. Where right before that I looked at Danny and Jen. I said, you do realize where they're laughing, they have a shower scene in the other room. They taped everybody using the bathroom. Well, Jen's a big girl. She's like, well, I hope I was gassy. And I said, you don't understand. They taped Dave using the bathroom. And then I looked at her and I looked at the kids. I said, they taped everybody using the bathroom. She's like, great. They obtained and dispensed kitty porn. Laughed. They sold my grandkids on porn sites. Do you know how many people admitted to see my grandkids go on potty? Do you know how illegal that is? Huh? Do you realize how illegal all this is? Start thinking about it with a brain cell of, oh my God. Okay? April 16th, 23. Jen's mom had died. I went to a memorial service. Go to leave across the parking lot. He still don't know I know. My car picked it up. It picked it up for the FBI case. Danny and Jen and the kids walk up to Gabe and Shay. I finally went to Dad. Asked him what on earth is going on. He said he'd hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was Pete and his men in her home before. Pete has her framed. Pete has the tape of the filthy, dirty statement. Some guy named Pete. He hired on his own. The Jack the Ripper rapist Pete? Is he supposed to be the dirty doctor Jack the Ripper rapist? Is Bill from the Freemasons supposed to be where they sat outside, it was supposed to be some dirty attorney with them, running drug scams on people on their own? See, the whole thing of it is, it's a big drug scam. Now start using a brain cell. A brain cell. One brain cell. Can an attorney and his doctor friend run drug scams on people? No, they go to jail. It's insane. Do they get special permission to drug beat and rape ladies? Sell child pornography? Are you nuts? Start using a brain cell. They're lying. I don't even know who these people are. In January to about May of 19 on a Sunday morning, they had said some guy named Bill was paying for this. Freemasons are following around, harassing me, okay? Sunday morning, I went to go to church with John on Sunday morning. It's before 10 o'clock in the morning. I was early. I had to go to the bathroom, go in McDonald's. I see Freemason plates pull in. Okay, I went to order a Diet Coke before I left. And I braced myself because they come in and yell stuff at me. Instead, two guys, I look down, I'm waiting for them to yell something at me. And I go to look and they said, Bill, you paid hundreds of thousands of dollars already to pay people to follow around. I looked, he's not a handsome man. I left. Only seen him then. Not a handsome man at all. Please tell me that ugly man did not rape me. Gee, I kind of thought human trafficking was illegal. I thought drugging people for fake confession, it's actually considered torture on Google. Let's see. What else? It's illegal to cyberstalk somebody. It's illegal to be in somebody's home. The Fourth Amendment of the constitutional rights. Okay? The right of the people, of everybody in the United States, to be safe and secure within your own person. Nobody can touch you if you don't want them to. It's assault. Right. Your places, your homes, your papers, your effects against all unreasonable searches or seizures shall not be violated. Your home cannot be violated. No searches, no seizures, but upon probable cause, warranted. Where's your court order, honey? Oh, you don't have it. Warranted with an oath or affirmation of people, places, or things to be searched or seized. You also have the right to remain quiet. You have the right to an attorney. Because of these three rights, police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements in a court order without a conflict of interest. Not some guy. And special permission. Tinkerbell gave it to you with her fairy dust. Get it? They're bullshitting all you people. Oh, the chief of police up there, he so did not, because he would go to jail and I could sue him. Let men drug me for fake confessions? Lie they have sodium pentothal reports? Beat right me. I went to the doctor for real injuries. Seen for real injuries of giant bruises, throwing up, severely infected to the point my private area was pushed out, open, and down, and I would scream when I peed. Had giant bruises all over me, throwing up. They're giving me iron pills, muscle relaxers, stuff for headache, nauseousness. I lost 18 pounds before I called the FBI. Now, it's a bitch move. The whole thing is a bitch move. Dave tries to kill me 4 times. 4 times. I don't die. He hits me with a board in the face. Runs off to the store. According to the neighbor, he showed up, screamed, I don't want my wife anymore. Will you all help me get rid of her? And Pete was in there. He agreed to help. Him and that Billy Boo from the Freemasons. Yeah, they ran a drug scam on me. Kicked in my door within 3 days, setting up button stalking cameras, breaking in, lacing my drinks, stabbing me with drugs, beating, raping me under drugs so I'd come out of it and not know what happened. And the only thing new to me is that house. The well water is orange. I thought it was killing me. I thought it was giving me cancer. Thought it was infecting my personal area just washing it in. And here it's predators raping me. Oh, I didn't know raping women was legal. Oh, then they run around tell everybody no one's to care what happened to her. Who's telling you that? The predators? Yeah. The ones that ran on the drug scam on me? Think about that. The ones that ran the drug scam on me. I don't even know who this, some guy named Pete. Oh, and the precious one? Well, her son verified everything for Will. Like he's God and he's a con man. My son lives in Florida. You know, people, they were yelling stuff at me a couple years ago. And they said they used amnesia drugs on her. What part of amnesia drugs she'll never remember? So they had to yell at me what they drugged me and told me to say. I ran and vomited. To find out people I'd never seen, never talked to, played with me like that. They showed up in 18 in front of the police and the FBI. Some old white man within the first month, for every idle word you tell on us, I'll turn it on you. You try to leave Dave, I'll list you a child molester. You know that bruise on your leg? I use sodium pentothal on you. And you know what you said? Something about wearing a wrong nightgown and bending over improperly and accidentally seeing your butt and a life of pain because of it. And threatened me again if I left Dave. What did he confess? He worked for Dave and he was talking me up and telling me to say lies. I got home and Dave debunked it in a legally bugged house. Then they came up where he had bruises before, throwing up and infected. It was us. It wasn't the well water. We were drug beating, raping you. We drugged you and told you to say this. We drugged you and told you to say that. We photoshopped all our lies. We erased some guy named Chris out of the room. By January of 19, it was a feminine wipey above the toilet in the other room. And then by, 21, they had put two clips together, put her in a porn. It's not her, it's them. And then what you're describing is showering. Ha, 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 ha. She figured out what they did. May 12th, 22 at noon, they found a tape of it. And then May 26, 22 at noon, the shower scene was done on purpose to make you look weird. February and March of 22 in Navarre, Pete ordered everything drugged, photoshopped, and made up on me. Then we got Ed at the Oakland apartment, December 9, 21, 4 p.m. The guy at the Hunger Task Force, same day, white man bald with dark eyes, distributing food at the Starr County Hunger Task Force on 9th Street in Canton, actually was a guard. That all the tapes before were them and not me. And they even told Ed it's just a bunch of men doing crimes here to see if somebody will stop them. The other ones, like we always knew the tapes before, were them and not her, so we never said a word. 2 drugs in told us say it from May 25th, 21, 6 p.m. of the church people breaking in before, drugging her and telling her say weirdo molester stuff. 8, 9, 21, the apartment building for me, second close offense, a lady and little girls live there. They were talking about me being drugged and told us say it before. 4 or 5 neighbors did a police report. Then we got 1295 Farrell, a little white lady screamed at him in 21, talked to several people in 21. Then we have an African-American lady, November 1st to 3rd of 21, that they made everything up on me. Ed at the Oakland apartment, the guy at the Hunger Task Force. January 19th, 22 at 11 o'clock in the morning that I was drugged and told to say it before to the Department of Disability. February 2nd, 22, Burlington Coat Factory, a Latino man admitted to drugging me first and telling me to say it. People ran into Save-A-Lot on Whipple, out of their houses on 6th Street, screaming it to the postman. It was like a chaos day. Even an investigator from Ravenna showed up in a blue black Sebring, pulled up and said, I seen her out today. I found out they really did drug her and tell her to say it before. To Eric, one of the drug dealers, November 18th, 22 of all the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, my idea to say it. For all these people to turn on her, and they fell for it. And if another guy's like, well, if it's only you, I could take care of it. I know it's that bad, and they still fell for it. Okay? To June 7th, 23, Walmart 62. Lighthouse Tabernacle, Melissa's church mocking FBI agent John. FBI agent John fell for the stun of tapes before. Oh, come on now. That FBI agent fell for that? It was only a stunt. You're kidding. And then cackle and cackle and cackle. In August of 23, on a Tuesday, Officer Mark told the lady it's documented and verified she was framed before, and it was the drug cartel in her home before. He considers Pete and Bill drug cartel. The lady said none of this. He said none of this is funny. He said, did her ex-husband defend her? He said, yes, we taped him. So did I. And he said, she said, did anybody talk to her? He said, no. Then they had to frame her. It's documented and verified she was framed before. Was it the drug cartel? Yes, we seen them. It's also documented and verified it was a medication error that made her sick before, and is documented and verified. Another woman was using her insurance. She's like, none of this is funny. He said, I know it's not. That's where April 28th, 24, I walk into Walmart on the strip. This guy walks beside me, said I listened to the recorded line that agent did admit to telling on her before, and he did talk to her like that. They better do something about it. Well, North Canton Jackson police officer walks up, looks at me, and said, Karen, I was listening to this today. We all know nobody drugs anybody but the drug cartel. And it was a drug cartel in your home before. We all know that guy told on you before. I want to know how he heard it. My client would go over by the ladies' clothing and the food aisle. And there's a guy talking to that guy named Kurt that the Stark County Sheriff's made fun of Melissa's kids' lies that he fell for it. In May of 21, they called him slow for falling for it because they said they were lying on Thanksgiving of 18 and illegally bugged house. Melissa got caught telling the kids to lie because she was friends with Dave's girlfriend, and the kids were taped stating they were making everything up. They were games of pretend, and that they had wanted the house for Auntie Sean Papa. They're documenting games of pretend, laughing in the basement. There's a video of it in that FBI case. Okay. So, where the Stark County Sheriffs in uniform in May of 21 were laughing at, Kurt just found out those kids were lying, he is slow. It's 2.5 years later. Okay? Well, he tells everybody to stay out of it. Some guy's on the phone with him, Kurt, none of this is funny. They have the agent over her case, taped, telling on her before he talked to her. Okay? They also have her whole family taped, defending her. And saying that they didn't know anything about this. They have these people taped admitting that they drugged her and told her to say it before. Admitting that they photoshopped everything and made everything up on her. None of this is funny. Everyone stay out of it. Oh, then Pam walks by with her granddaughter and said Uncle Dave said he had someone tape her before. Who'd the cops say it was? Cartel. What did that other guy say? It's all made up. We walk out. Investigators lose it. Took her long enough to confess she was in it with Dave and those stalking tapes. They're considered stalking tapes. Stalking. Okay? They said stalking tapes. Okay? That it took her long enough to confess she was in it with David in those stalking tapes. Her family was linked to the follower branding. Now she's in it with David in the stalking tapes. Her family better never back anything on those stalking tapes. The police already taped him defending her. And that they didn't know anything about this. And these people admitted they drugged her and told her to say it before, admitted to photoshopping everything and making everything up on her. That means they were in it with Dave the whole time trying to kill her and cover it up. Everybody's scattered. Reality. You go to jail, you put your name on it. They didn't get special permission from the chief of police. There's no such thing. And they sure wouldn't give it to some guy named Will and some guy named Pete. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements. Where my friend Walter Moss, he worked at the Stark County Prosecutor's Office. I told him about this. He started laughing. He said, it's the biggest process. Took him 30 seconds. They made the biggest mistake. They did it in your home. It's a right to privacy. No one couldn't. You can't even look or listen to it. It's illegal to. It's the Fourth Amendment. You have a right to privacy over your home. We had all the signs of being drugged, being raped. Somebody was hurting you. You had to go to the doctor for injuries you couldn't explain. And we all know you're sleepwalking with those drugs. They probably did drug you up until you say something stupid. You had bruises, throwing up, infected, and almost passing out. Somebody was hurting you, Karen. And where they laugh at you in front of people in stores that they Photoshop that shower scene, it's clicking and pasting up in another room. It's a big fraud scheme, and they did the biggest mistake. They did it in your home. That is the Fourth Amendment in the Constitution. See, in a real FBI case, real threat of life, real attempted life case, okay, that was opened by the FBI in the Stark County courthouse. Oh, they always say, they always tell people no one's to care what happens to her. They're lying. If a police officer actually gets caught saying that, they actually lose their badge and they go to jail as an accessory to the crimes that happened to the person. I've talked to all kinds of police officers. I've talked to a criminal attorney, and I could actually sue them and the Department of Justice to arrest them, or marshals. You do realize that. It's illegal. That agent was telling them that, trying to get their drug connections. Bullshitting them. The despicable act of some law enforcement, turning victims back, women and children back to the drug dealers so they can get the drug dealers. It's effective, but evil. They like the Massillon police officer said a couple of weeks ago, we told everybody to stay out of this because we wanted all Bill's drug connections. They were all playing him. So that idiot would bring the drug cartel here. And guess what? They had him under police surveillance with a court order for a protected custody case with statements. Like they said, the way the agent opened it up, it can't be disputed. The sheriffs and the FBI are taping this, and they're confessing to who they work for and what crimes they were doing. And then they got them. And they went out and arrested them all. Because Bill brought them all here. The agent fooled you. Where they were outside my apartment. We want that agent to show up here and explain himself. He said he didn't care what we did to her. Well, put your big boy panties on. The agent fooled you. He just had to feed me back to you. And you were so dumb you brought all those drug dealers here underneath police surveillance with a court order. And then he arrested them because you fed him to the fat. All those drug dealers to the fats. You did it, Bill. You brought him here and you fed him to the police and the FBI under surveillance. Where you thought you were such a big, bad man pulling a scam on a little woman. The FBI agent scammed you. Put your big bad boy panties on. He scammed you. Now, Melissa got caught. According to the investigator, she had made up the mean games to pretend after the FBI case. Okay? Because they came up after Thanksgiving. Melissa's so stupid, she made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid, she didn't check where you were. On Thanksgiving of 18, in a legally bogged house, Stark County sheriffs that work Faith Family Church help work Karen around the house. Karen's will still open. North Canton, Massillon Police. I go up into Akron. Barberton Police, Summit County Sheriffs, Akron Police all know about the case. Maddie's friend 2.5 hours away knew about my case. Knew about the Texas group. Brought the U.S. Marshals January 20th, 23. Get the idea? Big case. All right. On Thanksgiving of 18, the kids were, I had a split level. You walk in, go 8 steps up or 8 steps down to the basement. The basement was a family room, had a sectional couch, TV, fireplace. We put in a fireplace after we got moved in there, but it had a sectional couch, TV, laundry room, and a full bathroom. Okay, our puppies were there, and they come upstairs too. And then upstairs we had a living room, open concept kitchen, and 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. Okay, 4th of July. John's going through a divorce with that's the 4th. We can even do the 4th. The 4th of July, before the case, he's going through a divorce with Melissa. He's an hour late. They had went to a park. They come in. We had already finished eating. I'm putting all the food away. And they come in, and I barely heat up the food because it's still pretty warm. And they take 2 bites and run in the basement. I grab bottles of water, and me and John go sit on the front porch. And the kids run to the basement having pillow fights, okay? John, Dave, and Noah go out and play catch, and Gabe's running around the lawnmower. You can hear giggling and playing outside. It was wonderful. I had worked all summer long on that house. All summer. And hearing my family enjoy it, it was wonderful. We got 2 more, and they were only there like 45 minutes. They had, like I said, they were over an hour late because they went to a park. We went in and we went up to the kitchen. We went to get dessert. Didn't even get sat down. Dave come in. John left. I said, "What do you mean he left?" He said they left through the basement. And I said, "Well, he didn't say goodbye. He's in a hurry. They got places to go." They just stopped in to say hi. I didn't see him again till the FBI was there. Okay. Daniel has admitted under police surveillance, my grandson, that they didn't come upstairs. They were downstairs the whole time. Dave and my daughter-in-law, Jen. Okay, I was outside with everybody else. I didn't see him again until the FBI was there. So here Dave's cheating on me with this auntie Shell, and her and Melissa trying to scare me into giving up my house. They've already tried to kill me. They got this big frame going on of drug confessions, photoshopping and washing and stocking tapes by some guys they hired on their own. Trying to trick me out of everything. Thinking the police are stupid. That they could just scam somebody like this. They've tried to kill 4 times. And it has at least 2 police reports. And then witnesses of the other ones. And then breaking in the mall, it's them trying to kill me. Yeah. Well, let's see. Her and John are divorced now. And she's still friends with Auntie Shaw. Well, I called the FBI. They opened a real case. They're following everybody around for their involvement. Call up Melissa telling the kids to make stuff up for Auntie Shaw to get the house. Precious, isn't it? Thanksgiving of 18. They're late again. All right. They go down and they have on Thanksgiving of 18 they were playing Boo in the basement. Okay. They were taking each one of us down to jump out and go, ah! Well, they're little. And just to please them, want to try to scare us, we'll act scared, whatever, And mine turn to go down. They jump out and they scare me. On the 3rd step up, I hear, the house wasn't meant for Grandma. It was meant for Auntie Shaw and Papa. Grandma needs to get out. I thought, Auntie Shaw, get out? What? I looked down around the corner of the walls there, because they didn't know I didn't go all the way upstairs. They're all in a huddle like this, laughing, saying crazy crap. I go up and sit down by Dixie and the new baby, and I thought, I have to die for a shower. Dave held me down on September 21st, 18 at 3 in the morning. I, um, I love you, but I love her more. I hired a man to kill. I hired two men to kill you. One to slit your throat, one to and stab you in the heart. You'll bleed out, Karen. But I love you, but I love her more. You have to die for her, for us to get everything. And I got one man to shoot you in the head if you run. I thought, that's the one I have to die for? Who the heck is Shao? I'm sitting down by Dixie and the baby, and I'm thinking, who's Shao? Flora, my other granddaughter, runs up there saying mean things in the basement. It's like, oh, hell no. I go up to John, legally bugged house. Legally bugged house. What's going on? He's like, I don't know. He said, I told Melissa that you're moving out, going through a divorce. She'll have the kids make up something, but don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. And he said, she'll probably have her church people make up something too, but don't worry about it, Mom. Nobody can say anything bad about you. It's just because you're moving out and going through a divorce. I said, you shouldn't have said anything till it happened, but I did, and since you're just moving out and going through a divorce, and nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. And he shoos me. So I go to Dave. I clarify everything. I said, I've never hurt anyone. He's like, Karen, you're good to the kids. You're good to the grandkids. You would never hurt anyone. You're good to everyone, no matter who it is. Well, the police and the FBI have a huddle. They've already sold the login to the case. They announced at Walmart that Bill from the Freemason, is the one that sold the FBI technology in Walmart. For Will found another way of making money off the case. He sold the login for $25 a pop. He sold government technology. He sold an FBI case. Okay? And so everything's out in the open. People got the case, everything. So they're standing in the front of Walmart. Why are they having those kids make that shit up? Yeah, they said, oh, they're just trying to scare her out of the house. That's it. We interviewed her whole family. They spoke highly of her. Okay? And they came up to me, Melissa's so stupid. She made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. And how they're going to make up something, call me a bad word. Okay, and then they told me how she was in it with a drugger and the nightgown and Bud Light guy. And then they made up more lies and more lies and more lies. It was absolutely crazy. They call that fucking shit my family should be ashamed of. Mean jokes. Okay, it's all wiped out. October 23rd, 2019, I'm at Burrell's first party. And I was talking, I said, do you know how mad I was that when they said the house wasn't meant for Grandma, it was meant for Auntie Shell and Papa, and Grandma needs to get up? Flora's like, that's not what they said. They said this. Oh, my Lord. I would have spanked them all. And Josh is like, ew, don't say that again. It's not true. She's like, of course it's not true. Of course it never happened. We made it up. They were games of pretend. Sat next to me, chuckling, couldn't quit laughing. I would have spanked them all. They would have sat and wrote 100 times, I will never lie again. And they'd be lucky I didn't march them around and make them tell everybody they were lying, that they lied to. They'd never lie on another person again when I got done with them. There is no sense in that. They're documenting me games of pretend. That's how the police put it. Documented me games of pretend. Okay? The apartment building formed a second close offense on 8/9/21. They had talked about being drugged and told to say it before. Well, those kids were out there playing. They even told us, Mel's kids even told us they were lying. They talked about her lying everywhere. I went into Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Illinois in 21. They were talking about that girl line because they sold it. Thing. There's a video of it. In an FBI case, and they sold it. I was out in Alliance last month. The people said, the ones helping out, everybody realized how not funny this is. That tape, there's a tape of them laughing, saying they were lying in the basement. I know that. They have announced it several times in Walmarts. Even a couple months ago, nobody even said a word to her about those grandkids. Because she's an FBI informant, and the police taped those kids saying they were lying a long time ago. Thanksgiving 18. Huh? Thanksgiving or 18. Nobody went to the hospital. Nobody went to the doctor. There's no pictures of any injuries. The police weren't called. I wasn't questioned. Accused, prosecuted. Why? Because they're mean jokes. Like they said, her family ought to be ashamed of herself. Karen's risking her life to get information on these people, to get them stopped, and she's almost died. Trying to save everyone. And her family's sitting around laughing, making stuff up. These people even lied on my son John that he went into some guy named Will's office and confirmed the tapes before the dirty drug confession. John lives in Florida, lived there for years with his new wife. Melissa pulled a bitch stunt. After their divorce, she dropped off the kids. They're divorced. Can you just walk in your ex-husband's house? No, that's breaking and entering. He got the kids in, got everybody settled, went in to use the bathroom. She snuck in the house, waited for him to come out of the bathroom, started screaming and lunged at him, and out of a reaction of, and pushed her because she startled him. She laughed and went, "Now I got you." Called 911. Had him arrested for domestic violence. Had to get an attorney. Had to bail herself out of jail. Lost his kids for almost a year. He called me in, I was at 19 or 20. I was working 2 jobs. 2. He said, "Mom, I need a reliable name to pick up the kids after school so I can get visitation rights." It's been almost a year, and it was 19 or 20. He's like, I need a reliable name to pick up those kids from school so that I can get visitation rights after what she did. I said, "John, I work 2 jobs. I barely make it." He's like, "Mom, if you don't help me, I won't be able to get my kids back." I said, "John, I won't be able to afford my apartment. I don't have money. I can't just take off work. I'm sorry." He was pissed at me. But I literally could not afford my apartment and quit my job and survive. I said, "I can't. I am sorry." He said, "Mom, I need somebody to write it down, the reliable name to pick up those kids so I can turn it into the courts." I said, "John, I'm sorry. I can't help you. I barely make it on my own now." And he said, "But I need somebody reliable that I can write their name for down for the courts so that they can see that I have someone pick them up." And I said, "I'm so sorry. I can't help you." He was so mad at me. But I couldn't. I barely made it on my own. See, they were Melissa's lies. The police and the FBI taped Dave and Dixie knowing of Melissa asking me to babysit those kids before the divorce in 18. John asked me in 1920. They were just Melissa's mean games of pretend. Now, he lost his kids for over a year. He finally got visitation rights, and then he finally just moved away. Comes up a couple times a year to see him. has a beautiful new wife, and looks happy in Florida. Now, I want you to think, would he help Melissa? I don't think hell froze over. And he's smart enough to know you can't drug anybody for a fake confession. And you can't set up button cameras in somebody else's home stalking them either. Cyber stalking. Andrew Darabic up there had 7 or 12 victims. He was getting naked pictures of people and tried to extort money, set off a hate crime on the internet on people. One teenager killed himself. He is in federal prison 12 to 15 years for getting naked pictures of people and trying to extort money out of them. Cyber stalking and sextortion are federal crimes. See, the difference of it is the surveillance laws. Okay? A doctor can never tape you unaware because of HIPAA and Privacy Acts. They lose their job. They lose their license and they go to jail. It's a felony invasion of privacy. Your medical records are under the Act of Privacy. Setting up button cameras, listening devices, even President Nixon could not bug an office. Why? Because the right to privacy. He got impeached. Ford had departed or he would have went to jail. It's a right of privacy over a home and office. Ohio, though, is a one-party conversation recording. If you're in the conversation, you can hit record on your phone and tape the conversation. It's the only thing legal. It's right on Google. It's a one-party conversation only. You have to be in the conversation, during the conversation. It's like taping a Christmas party, birthday party, cookout, event, concert. On your phone, you can hit record while you're doing that. We all put them up on social media. We're allowed. Because Ohio is a one-party consent state of just a conversation while you're in the conversation. That's about the only thing legal you could do. What these people did is federal crimes. And then they try to blame the chief of police up there. There is no way he would ever give some guy named Will and some guy named Pete to break in other ladies' homes, drug them for fake confession, and beat and rape them and be an accessory to that. Think about that. I would own them. Sell kiddie porn to little kids going potty. Be an accessory to them selling child pornography. Come on now. Realize they're all lying. And that precious Melissa, she better thank God nothing happened to her kids. My sweet new husband, his name's Carl, his granddaughter knew her husband was hurting their child, would not report him. She didn't hurt him, but she knew her husband was hurting that child. Didn't report him. Cannot hide abuse. He's in jail the rest of his life. She went to jail for years as an accessory for not reporting it. Now she's never allowed around a child. See, that's where Melissa better thank God. They're just mean jokes they were laughing at. Because nobody went to the hospital. There was no police reports. No police investigation. There was no pictures of any injuries and no investigation. Why? Because they're mean jokes. They just wanted to scare her out of the house. And there's some crazy lady that was with the Louisville police on May 30th, 25 at 1:30 in the morning. How she's trying to trick people into putting their name on this and then she's going to arrest them. I turned that bitch into the FBI, Department of Justice too, honey. CIA, NSA, sheriff. Yeah. If I have any other law enforcement things that I can report you, I will. I even turned you in the prosecutor's office. Oh, you think in pull entrapment, putting people's name on it, tricking them that you can give them endless amount of money? She has no authority to give you a dime. She's lying to you. Not a damn dime. She's fooling all you. trying to trick people into being arrested for the attempted extortion from the government. You can never extort money. See, that's where Melissa better thank God. Those people even were outside. We'll just have Melissa say something, and they'll make her give her that new car and hand her the keys over, and then she'll have to make the payment. You can't just say something about somebody. I had a dog bite attorney, which a personal injury attorney. For you to even have a case, you have to prove injury. You have to go to the emergency room. You have to have the doctor document it and pictures to verify it. You also have to notify the police. They had to notify the dog warden to even prove there was an injury. Then you have to have physical proof that person did it. When I said, oh, I got a witness, that's not good enough. You pay your witness off, where she's offering people millions of dollars to say something about me. You have to have physical proof. I had to have where the dog bit my coat and have the DNA on the coat before they would even take my case. You have to prove injury by an emergency room. The emergency room has to document all the injuries, pictures of the injuries. Police report attached to it. I had to have a dog warden's attached to it too. I had to have where I notified him in the email, a copy of it, to even prove injury. Then I had to prove responsibility. Couldn't just, I had an eyewitness. Wasn't good enough because you can pay the witness off. I even had another person across the street see me outside that house before I left because I had already got back in the car. I don't think they seen the dog bite because it was about 5-10 minutes later because I was trying to get a hold of my boss. And they said, that doesn't even count either because you can always say another dog bit you or somebody else hurt them or whatever, or hurt you or whatever. She said it's a personal injury. If it's a person, if it's a dog, whoever, you have to have physical evidence to link that person or animal to someone else. To the injury. So I said, well, the witness don't count. The other one seeing me don't count. I made a phone call. My phone would ding. That wouldn't count. I said, well, I'll tell you what. If you want physical evidence, I still have the coat where it bit on my arm, bit through 2 shirts into my arm, left as teeth marks, and I have the DNA on the coat. She's like, now you proved it. You've proved injury by having an emergency room report. The doctor document in the emergency room. There was, the police were notified, got how I notified them, the email, the time I called them, to the dog warden being notified, to pictures of injuries, to the DNA of the coat. See what I mean? I had to have all that proof or they won't open a case. You know what they have? Yatter. Nobody went to the doctor. Nobody went to the hospital. No police were called. No police investigation was open. Why? Because they're sitting around laughing how they could scare me out of everything. See, this lady's filling them full of bullshit of, you just say something about her and we'll get you money. You can't just say something. You actually have to prove somebody was injured. You can't roofie somebody and tell them say something stupid either, bitch. And then, we'll have someone verify it. No. And see, that's where my kids' pediatrician, Dr. Greg Haven, on Frank Street, from 1984 to 2002. In 2001, 2002, I was sitting there talking to him. He said, Karen, I never one time had to worry about you ever abusing your children. I never had to worry about them being mistreated or harmed, or them not being well taken care of. They come in here and they're fine. My children were at normal weight, normal height. They didn't have injuries. Okay? They also would look you right in the eye and talk your head off. They were normal, happy children. Children that are abused look down and won't make eye contact. They can't because they're hurting. My children would look you right in the face and wouldn't quit talking till they left. They were happy, loud children. He was my pediatrician for 18 years, still in business. They said we went to Dr. Haben. There was never any signs of any abuse or neglect. Nothing. You have to have proof of abuse. There is none. And see where they've laughed and said, oh, we drugged you and told you to say it, and it's horrible. And I've never hurt my children. And I'll tell you what, that's a bitch move, drugging somebody up and tell them to say something horrible like that. I used to run the bathroom and throw up. Now it makes me angry. You know, that's where there is no medical proof because it never happened. Like Dr. Haben said, I never had to worry about you ever abusing your children, Karen. I never had to worry about them being mistreated. I never had to worry about them not being taken care of. They come in here and they're fine. But you come in here with bruises. The only one I worry about in that house is you. Dave would have a bad day and he'd beat on me, be sorry. A year later, the next time have a bad day, he'd beat on me again. It's just something he punched on. He was scamming. And this is a bitch move, roofing somebody and tell them to say something horrible. Photoshop washing and stocking tapes. It's a bitch move. Where they said March 1st of 15 and 19, illegally bugged house. Someone called. Dave was outside on the back porch. What's going on? It's a real life case of how to get away with murder. She'll realize it. They thought if they roofied me and told me to say something horrible. And stocking tapes. Beat on me. It's a bitch move because then you don't remember. They roofied my neighbor Mike in a bar, and I went out to work and to leave to go to work, and he comes up to me how he didn't know how he got home. He didn't know how he got money in his pocket, didn't know how he changed his shoes, and I keep telling him to go sleep it off. What do you remember the second beer? Go sleep it off. You don't understand. I don't know what was even in the box of mustard. I don't know anything. And I had him have him check his bank. He did what I told him to. He found out I got money out of the bank. And then he looked at me and said, I used to be a New York cop, and you're pretty. You want to go cuddle? I'm like, go sleep that off. He's stoned out of his mind. I checked on him later. I'm like, are you, you do realize you told me you were a New York police officer. He's like, I was never a New York police officer. He said, I don't even remember saying that. He said, during the second beer, they said at that bar, I started telling people I was an astronaut and everything. I met a U.S. Marshals kid. They roofied twice. She took a drink out of her drink and the room went dizzy and black. Happened 2 times. She moved out of the area in safety. Don't know what happened to her. My co-worker Dar, she took a drink at a bar. Didn't remember anything after the drink, and her friend said that she was acting and talking normal. She acted a little happy at first and then went back to talking normal. A group of people came up. They didn't know, and she left with them. She found herself in a puddle peak. Don't even remember meeting him. Found out 2 months later she was raped. She didn't even go to the doctor. She didn't realize it. Raising somebody's kid. She never met. She don't even remember them doing it. Me and her have one of the same weird memories. She remembers screaming at the top of her lungs, nothing attached to it. I thought these were nightmare sounds of footsteps, a white man's arm coming across me with a white dress shirt, gray pinstripe, and a syringe. Then feeling like my back's being ripped to my chest and screaming every part of my body in agony and screaming at the top of my lungs, I can't see, I can't breathe, and all I can feel is pain. I thought they were nightmares. No, here I'm being drugged, being raped. There are drug tasers. I never seen or talked to anybody before the FBI. I never had my neighbors in my home. I had family repair guys and installation guys. That's it. And Dave was letting those men in my home to violate me. On Sunday, on Father's Day, I went out with my new husband, Carl, and his daughter, Audrey. And we were sitting there, we were talking a little bit about this. And they said, well, we seen it on TV. Some guy was letting men break in and drug up his wife and let him rape her under drugs for over a year, or almost a year, before she realized what was happening. Why she was waking up with bruises and all this other stuff, and she couldn't figure out what was happening to her. And he's in jail a long time for letting that happen. He was pimping out his wife under drugs, just like Dave. It's human trafficking. And then they were talking about at big parties, raves, where there's a bunch of teenagers. They're walking around with syringes, sticking people with date rape drugs. So it takes effect almost immediately, so that people are sleepwalking. And that way they'll go along with it and leave with them, and they can take them. And I said, well, I did research. It's called needling someone.